Hello, my name is Krista Mullins, and I am a program consultant in the Office of Assessment and Accountability. Today, we will be talking about the Alternate Kentucky Summative Assessment, or AKSA. Our agenda for the training will cover the AKSA timeline, Window 1 makeup, medical non-participation, Window 2 information, field test items, monitoring visits, opportunities for KDE committee work, and the February DAC Q&A sessions. Let's take a look at the AKSA spring timeline. The Window 1 makeup is from January 6th through March 21st. All makeup windows must be approved by KDE by making the request for a makeup on the Window 1 makeup Google form. Orders for visual impairment or VI materials are due by February 10th. VI orders may be submitted using the link in the table. Students must have visual impairment indicated in their IEP and be eligible for the alternate assessment to receive VI orders. Window 2 materials will ship based on your selection in the Google form. The form is linked in the table. These materials will ship either the week of March 24th or the week of March 31st. If the form was not completed by February 10th, the materials will ship the week of March 24th by default. Window 2 will open April 14th and close on May 23rd. The Employability Skills Attainment Records, or ESAR administration, ends May 23rd. All scores for the attainment tasks, Career Work Experience Certification, or CWEC, and ESAR must be entered into the SRD or CRD by May 30th. This date is firm and cannot be modified. The complete calendar is linked at the bottom of this slide. Just as a reminder, the Transition Attainment Record, or TAR, is administered in grade 11 unless a student does not meet benchmark, and then they may take it in grade 12 and 14. Career Work Experience Certification, or CWEC, is a career readiness measure within the Post-Secondary Readiness Indicator of the accountability system. The attainment of CWEC is a process, not an assessment. Finally, ESAR, the Employability Skills Attainment Record, is administered to all 12th grade students who are working toward achievement of career readiness within the Post-Secondary Readiness Indicator. The ESAR is not administered to students with a graduation code. Let's take a look at the procedures for requesting a makeup. The makeup for Window 1 began on January 6th and will continue through March 21st. District Assessment Coordinators, or DACs, must complete the AKSA Window 1 makeup request form to request a makeup. The form is linked on this slide and can also be found on the AKSA Resources webpage. Once the form is submitted, a copy of the DAC's responses will be emailed to them. This will serve as confirmation that KDE received the form. After KDE reviews the request, the DAC will receive an email from KDE letting them know if the request was approved or not approved. Please allow 1 to 2 business days for KDE to review and approve the request. All makeup attainment tasks, or ATs, should be administered by March 21st. Scores must be entered into the SRD by the close of business on March 21st. If districts destroyed and did not keep school-level materials after Window 1, the DAC binder may be used to copy the materials needed to administer the ATs. All procedures and protocols for testing must be followed during the makeup window. If, for some reason, a student is unable to complete testing during the makeup window, the student may complete Window 1 and Window 2 in the spring during Window 2. KDE encourages districts to use the makeup window to complete Window 1 testing if possible. If a student will be taking Window 1 and Window 2 assessments in the spring, districts must contact KDE for approval to take the Window 1 test in the spring. Students are required to take both Window 1 and Window 2 attainment tasks of the AKSA. If a student started a window in another district but did not complete the assessment for that window, ensure the student completes the assessment using the same form number. DAC binders have all form numbers if copies are needed. So, What do districts do if they have a student who might qualify for a medical non-participation? Medical non-participations should be submitted beginning April 23rd for both Window 1 and 2 during the spring window in the Student Data Review and Rosters, or SDRR. Please enter the information into SDRR and wait for an approval, denial, or request for additional information. You will continue to keep a copy of this form on file in your district. A superintendent or designee signature will be accepted in place of a doctor's signature. Please complete these early in the testing window. If a medical non-participation is denied, attainment tasks for both Windows 1 and 2 will need to be completed during Window 2. If submitted early in the window and a non-participation is denied, there may still be time to complete the assessment. Non-participations can be requested by content area or for the whole test. Extraordinary circumstance non-participations are not available. Let's take a look at Window 2. If you have experienced staffing changes from earlier in the year, make sure your new test administrators have completed all required trainings, administration code, inclusion of special populations, and the assessment-specific trainings. New test administrators must also complete the certification quizzes for the AT Overview and TAR, CWEC, ESAR as necessary. These can be opened by contacting Daryl Mattingly at UK using the contact information found in the OTS. Staff who previously completed these trainings in the fall do not have to redo them for Window 2. Administration of the assessments should not take place without completing training and quizzes. The DAC and DOS may want to consider completing the training and certification quizzes in the event they need to administer the assessment. Any non-certified personnel assisting with testing must sign a non-disclosure form. This form is to be kept on record. Before testing, please cover or remove content from test administration areas and follow all protocols outlined in the Administration Code regulation for test security. Testing materials should remain secure before, during, and after testing. When materials are not being used, they should be double locked. Test administrators who have completed their certification quizzes may preview the tasks and modify materials as permitted for accessibility. Test materials will ship either the week of March 24th or March 31st, depending on which shipping option the district has chosen. If materials are not received by the Friday of the week they ship, please email Krista Mullins. It is important to let KDE know if secure testing materials have not been received. School-level Window 2 materials will need to be placed in the school binders that were retained from Window 1. During Window 2, the Quality of School Climate and Safety Survey must be administered to all students in all grades who take the AKSA. Tasks may be administered in more than one session if needed. If a test session is stopped, it must be restarted where the student left off. The task cannot be restarted at the beginning. Only one content area may be administered in a day, and the order of the binder must be followed. The QSCS survey may be given on the same day as the first content area. Regarding instruction, as per the Administration Code, instruction may continue in the testing window but cannot be centered around the tasks being administered, nor can there be any kind of review or reteaching based on knowledge of secure test materials. When it's time to begin task administration, the test administrator should be in a one-to-one environment with the student. Remote administration of assessments, where the proctor is at one location and the student is at another location, is not permitted. Test administrators should follow the directions in the script and read it exactly as written. This is a fully scripted assessment. Beginning on page 11 of the administration guide, there are some examples of acceptable and unacceptable administration procedures. For example, it would be acceptable to cue a student to begin or to orient them to the task. It is not acceptable to cue them toward a specific answer. When a student answers, please record the response. They cannot return to a previous question once they have moved to the next question, even if they ask. They may not have multiple opportunities to answer the same question. All testing materials must be securely stored when not in use. It is also important for test administrators to log out of the online training system or OTS when the assessment is not being administered. Once the attainment task administration is complete, it's time for score entry in the SRD. Transfer the student responses from the paper answer sheet into the SRD by May 30th, 2025. This is also the deadline to enter Career Work Experience Certification, or CWEC status, and Employability Skills Attainment Record, or ESAR scores, into the Career Readiness Database, or CRD, for grade 12 students. The AT binder and supplemental materials should be returned to the designee, Building Assessment Coordinator, or BAC, DAC, or Director of Special Education, or DOS, for secure storage until the end of the school year when they will be destroyed. KDE recommends retaining the student answer sheets in a secure location until after data cleanup. The DAC thumb drives should be returned to the University of Kentucky in the provided prepaid envelope. Let's take a look at what to expect for field test items in the spring. Similar to Window 1, Window 2 will also contain field test items for each content area. Prior to the test administrator entering scores into SRD, they will select AT next to the student's name, and then they must select which form number was used prior to clicking AT and entering scores. The form number corresponds to the field test items administered and not to the attainment tasks. Form numbers can be found on the front of the binder and on the top of the field test. For additional information, reference the SRD training on the AKSA resources webpage and the SRD user manual found below the login on the SRD. Now let's turn our attention to monitoring visits. Like in the past, in-person and virtual monitoring visits will occur during the spring 2025 administration. Details about monitoring visits are discussed in the Test Security February DAC training. Let's take a look at some KDE committee work opportunities. The Kentucky Department of Education is seeking Kentucky educators to assist in several assessment-related tasks that will take place in 2025. Opportunities include science work with HUMRO to identify alignment of instructional practices to the assessment, range finding, standard setting, item development, and bias review for the KSA and AKSA, as well as an opportunity to participate in a committee to define the English Language Proficiency, or ELP, exit criteria. The ELP exit criteria work is designed to identify new criteria for reclassifying EL students who take the alternate access. This will involve participating in a virtual meeting to review data and discuss the language skills of students trying to exit from language assistance services. K through 12 and post-secondary educators, as well as community stakeholders interested in participating in the assessment development and review work are needed. A pool of candidates is being gathered for these critical steps and other supporting activities that will occur. A Google form will be shared with DACs to forward to qualified applicants. A large portion of this work will be accomplished virtually, and participants will receive a stipend. When will the February DAC Q&A sessions take place? On this slide, you will see the dates for our February DAC Q&A sessions. Please note that the February 3rd session in Frankfurt will be an in-person only session. On this slide, you can see the schedule for these February DAC Q&A sessions. Please be sure and check out all of our February DAC trainings that are available. You can see the list of available trainings here on this slide. For any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at 502-564-4394, or you can email dacinfo@education.ky.gov. Thank you for taking the time to review this AKSA training. I look forward to seeing you at our February DAC Q&A sessions.